up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment. And I wanted to go into tonight's Cowboys game, Cowboys Niners. I've been thinking about it for a bit, and it's you can make arguments for both sides, especially with the numbers, because Purdy he's either going to be 1-1. I think it'll be 11 straight games he won, or it ends at 10, which is 101. So, like, the numbers are so similar on both ends, so I'm not going to do any of that. But before I get into that, I wanted to do a recap. We had a good day. The first game set us off good because we not only got the Jags straight up we had them covering the spread for a leg two, but we also had them in a parlay with the Saints. So that paid about 5-1, and luckily both of those hit. It would have been unfortunate if it didn't. But once that happened, we really only needed one of two things to happen with the Saints. Obviously, it would have been nice if they went over two. They seemed to do a crazy sell job at the end where Saints were still scoring, but Belichick was just giving up in like the fourth quarter. 4th and 3, he punted it, things of that nature. And the Saints, they could have ran up the score, but of course they weren't going to. So we missed that leg 3, but like I said yesterday, what the goal is to split them. We're not going to hit them all. And we split one that netted about 4 units because we had the Steelers winning at home, and they did in fact win on a ridiculously scripted game, but I'll take it. This is the second time this has happened that I know of. Actually, it's more than twice. The Jets did it, where they didn't do anything all game, but their defense kept them in it. This game was giving me serious Jets, Bills vibes. Falcons was kicking the nuts. Maybe most of you guys might have, bought the half a point. A lot of times I do. In this case, I didn't. I just took the 2.5. Figured it would be close between, the quarterback and the running back, but I didn't think it would necessarily be a 2-point game. So unfortunate, but that does happen. It goes our way too, though, sometimes. And these two were leg 1, so I'm not too worried about. Oh no, the Dolphins was a leg 2. We almost backdoor covered that one, but we didn't. And then the Panthers. This is what my gut was telling me. I went with the metric, which is fine. The metric bears true over time. It really does. But yeah, so we did about, I think, exactly 50%. Like I said, the good part of it is we got a parlay and we got a 2-1 odds, but we did it as a leg 3. The Steelers. I put a lot of faith into that one. So, like I said yesterday, that would have been a big swing either way. We would be fine if we lost. We're not going to win them all, but the goal is to split the leg 3s. Now let me go into tonight's, and it's pointless going over it now, but if you haven't seen my last video, I do have the Cardinals upsetting. Obviously, not a great start, not looking like a great start. Eagles covering, looking like a decent start. Jets went with the under. Vikings, I'm going to stick with them. Someone told me that Taylor Swift did touchdown in Minneapolis. We'll just have to hope she loses. Now, for the Cowboys Niners, I like it for a very simple reason. Upon looking at it, it's got the almost same exact methodology to it as the UCLA game we just picked and covered. So that game we had UCLA covering. I liked them to cover because it would have made them both 4-1, and it was a 3-point spread. So you have pie 3-1-4. I'm telling you, I see this all the time. I don't think it can be a coincidence. By the way, Lamar Jackson, and I didn't even watch the whole game. I watched a little bit of it. Lamar Jackson, when he fumbled the ball at the end, so his last throw, I guess he threw the ball on the very last drive, but he had 233 yards, or 223, I'm sorry. It was the Mason number, so I found that interesting. Anyway, I take these numbers seriously, and I genuinely believe because of the numbers, the pie is going to be the tiebreaker, and I like the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys win this game outright, and they would both move to 4-1. And if you look at pie, it's 3-1-4-1-5. So we'd literally have the first 5 digits of pie. 3 for, obviously the spread. 1-4 for one of the team's records. The other team has a 1 in it, and then a 5 there for the 3.5. So pretty insane. I don't think all that could be a coincidence. And then if you think about the starting numbers of the quarterbacks, we have 13 and we have 4. So they definitely use this stuff. I say it a million times, and then people will just you throw all this gematria at my face, but it's just, you can see how it can go both ways. But anyway, in this case, it can't go both ways because 3 and 2 is not it's not pi. Actually, the Babylonians, their pi was 3.25. So maybe they knew something we didn't. But pi is 314, so the only way that could happen is for the Cowboys here to win. So I do like the Cowboys to win. And I was leaning Cowboys because if you think about it, I have the Niners winning in the championship, going to the Super Bowl. So with the Cowboys, if they beat them in the playoffs, I feel like it has to be a redemption. It can't be they just beat them here. I guess it could be like they're bringing it back to the 80s where they just beat them every time they play them. But I think they're going to lose here. They end the streak. And who knows, maybe the Niners go on another streak and don't lose again, and then they beat the Cowboys, something like that. But I like the Cowboys to win this game outright. So you're going to be looking at about plus 160. And I'm deciding if I want to play it as a leg 2 or leg 3. We're going to play it as a leg 2. Just because... Actually, no, we're going to play it as a leg 3. Because I just remembered. I kept thinking the Dolphins was a leg 1. So we're going to play this as a leg 3. Hopefully I'm not cutting out crazy. But yeah, since, let's see, we had Giants, Dolphins, Falcons, Texans. So, yeah, since they both lost, we're going to go ahead. And since we did go with the parlay, and as well as, we have another parlay in play too, because the Colts won. We just need the Chiefs to go over, I think. And that one's 3.25 to 1, I think. So, between the parlay hitting and the Steelers, and the fact that we need to close these sequences anyway, and I like pi more than I like any of these other theories, I'm going to go with the Cowboys to win this game outright as a leg 3, which is going to be nice because it's going to pay better than it was a leg 1 because you're getting about plus 160. So yeah, that's I can go into some of the other games that were just laughable. The Falcons Texans was just such a staged comeback. Stroud's touchdown, they let him get wide open. And then the Falcons, get down the field and they get the field goal so they could win no cover. Again, that was a kick in the nuts. Once the Giants really fell behind and kept turning it over, I knew they weren't going to cover. Again, so that one's fine. It doesn't matter which leg 2 you run the Cowboys game for, but I'll probably run mine for that. And then Panthers Lions again went against my intuition. Really made no sense. I almost double-digit favorites. But the Panthers have yet to cover a spread this year, so that's fine. We can chase that right on the leg 3 next week. I think they'll probably break off of that. And yeah, Saints was nice. It was actually a bigger play because the leg 3, while it's not fun, it's 4 units. I had them going over, but for the win, obviously it was 5-1, so that's obviously better. And then Colts is really good. We could hedge right now if we wanted to. I'm not going to. I'm just going to let the Chiefs override. And we got off to a good start. Jags, another rigged game. Ridiculous game. Lawrence can't do anything all game. Then all of a sudden Ridley's getting wide open. I had a nice prop because of that, so I'm not going to complain. I had Ridley. He needed 93 yards. He was at 90. And that throw put him at like 120 something. But it's just, and the way they score is so rigged. You see, I think Etienne had 2 touchdowns this time after not getting many at all season. And Allen runs one in, so he only has 2 passing ones. Lawrence stays on 1. So, they do... I've been telling people for a while, well, not for a while, but it feels like a while, for the last week or so, just taking quarterbacks rushing props. Shedeur Sanders was 4-1 yesterday. I think he ran at least 1 in. It happens in college all the time, and it's starting to happen in the NFL a lot more often. So, not for the obvious quarterbacks anymore, if you notice. I don't think Lamar ran 1 in today. But he might have, but I didn't recall that. I mean, they only got 1 score. But either way, you're seeing guys like Pickett, you're seeing guys like Stroud, you're seeing guys like, maybe not Ritter, he's not athletic at all, or Goff, but you're seeing guys like Daniel Jones, he runs anyway. But even guys like Lawrence, he didn't really run before, and now he's running him in. So he didn't run 1 in today, but just in general, I think it'll be a good pick. But yeah, we had so far, not much can make the day bad because, I suppose we can miss all these, 4 o'clock games, miss that other parlay, miss the Cowboys. But for the most part, we're probably going to finish with, I would say, above average it's a good day. For some people, it was a great day because they, well, we had like I said, we're in the net pretty well because of the parlay and because of the Steelers win. But some people played props and did well on them. Some people jumped on games live. So the Falcons were plus odds, right? Like basically to start the game. The second they went down 3-0, they were plus 105. So a lot of people do that. They kind of get where I'm at as far as what I think is going to happen. So they'll just say, you know what, I'm going to double down that they cover live or something of that nature. It wasn't an official play of mine, but it's just one that a few minutes in, if you want to avoid a clip, it's a little more. But a lot of times people will just do that, especially if the game looks like it's going a certain way. I won't lie, it looked like they were trying to set up a Stroud comeback, so I wouldn't have expected Ritter to come back and do that. But I suppose they probably did it just to make it where the cover didn't hit, because how convenient, it was a 2.5 point line. But yeah, so Cowboys, so hopefully we can only go 33.333% or 66.666. And usually I don't love the number, but today I want to hit that 666 because we have 3 like threes, and the third one is going to be the Cowboys. So I think we get it. I like the pie theory. I've seen it too much for it not to be true. And not many props, over under. I was thinking about it, but I think it's just going to be a Cowboys win. How they win, it really is a complete coin flip. They could make it a crazy game. They could make it a complete gritty game. So we could see any type of game. So I just like the Cowboys because of the numbers and because the streak's also at 10, I think, which again, pie is like the beginning and the end, 1-0. So it just seems like a perfect full circle time. And like I said, I think for the playoffs, it's important the Cowboys get this. Niners boot them out in the playoffs. So take care, everybody, and happy earnings.